The Legend of Zelda 40th anniversary just got even more exciting. So much has happened over the past couple of weeks, it's honestly pretty crazy. Like the Legend of Zelda movie, a potential release date for Ocarina of Time, and a Nintendo Direct, and also a potential game that was supposed to be making its way over the system. First off, if we were going to take a look at this, you can see that Yuli Latakifu lands the villain role as Ganondorf in the Sony and Nintendo Legend of Zelda movie. That's really interesting to see that Sony and Nintendo are working together to make a movie. Besides that point, the thing that I want to look at is in fact this right here. You can see that he lands the role and he has a contract for 2 to 3 different movies. So this is definitely really interesting and could lead into the infinite possibility that Nintendo is going to be making another Legend of Zelda film. So what exactly does this have to do, if anything? Well, if you're really going to take a look at it, we saw this right here, that Nintendo directly makes movies and games sort of connect in some way. So they'll release a game in the time frame of that movie or vice versa. So in this case, the Legend of Zelda movie could have easily been Ocarina of Time, or we could be seeing something else to sort of connect these two universes. Right now, it seems like the Legend of Zelda movie is going to be a mix of Breath of the Wild and also a mix of Ocarina of Time. But this could be a completely separate thing. It could be a brand new experience that we've never seen before. And what exactly could go specifically with a brand new experience, a brand new game. So they could release the Legend of Zelda movie and then start the promotion, or maybe give us a trailer for the next Legend of Zelda game, and then release the next Legend of Zelda movie, as it seems that we are going to be getting a second Legend of Zelda movie, and then they could release the next Legend of Zelda game. How cool would that be? Seeing a Zelda movie and a Zelda game? Honestly, it makes too much sense for Nintendo to do. Also, if you were going to look at it in this specific way, you play the Legend of Zelda game, and then you're like, I like this. I'm going to go and see what the story's about. If you really were dove into the story, because I think the Legend of Zelda story is honestly phenomenal. Half the time, I play the Legend of Zelda game to hear the story. Like, for example, Hyrule Warriors. That was one of the biggest games that I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to watch the story. But overall, all those things aside, definitely make for a very interesting possibility. The other thing that I wanted to take a look at is this right here. It seems like we are going to be getting the Legend of Zelda Nintendo Direct, or it could just be the next Nintendo Direct and still be getting the Legend of Zelda 40th Anniversary Direct sometime in August. That definitely could be happening, but it seems from Attack the Backlog here that we are going to be getting it in the 15th of September. So that's a huge possibility. He seems to be getting a lot of different things right, announcements on Nintendo Direct, and of course, Nate the Hate didn't comment on the matter, so I guess we're going to have to see what exactly happens with all of this. One other thing that I wanted to take a look at is actually this right here. It seems like the Legend of Zelda 40th Anniversary console is actually still the work, and Nintendo might have just confirmed it, because they did say that yes, the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is still confirmed to be releasing sometime later this year. So what exactly does later this year mean? Well, it's probably not going to be September, nor is it going to be October. But November for the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time definitely makes a lot of sense. Because if you were going to look at it, there's no other games releasing in that time frame. Yes, there is going to be a massive game releasing then, but I don't actually think that Nintendo really cares about what Rockstar Games actually does. So November definitely would be the perfect time for the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Then, with that, they could release another console to celebrate the release of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Although there is going to be another special edition console coming out in November, but depending what you like, this actually opens the doors wide open to the decision on, am I going to be picking up the Legend of Zelda special edition console, or am I going to be picking up the Xbox special edition console? Overall, all those things aside, definitely make for a really exciting time. In fact, I'm pretty excited to see the Xbox Special Edition, and even the Legend of Zelda one. It's going to be a really tough bargain to see, am I going to be getting this one, am I going to get this one, am I going to get none of them? Who knows? Also, what we wanted to take a look at is, seems like we were originally going to be getting one of the biggest games ever that has apparently been cancelled and turned into something else. But potentially this is going to be making its way over sometime in the future. It turns out that the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker 2 was apparently in development until it got scrapped for something more realistic. Because if you don't remember, back in 2001, the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was not very well received. It was apparently going to be a realistic game, but then they showed this cartoony one, and then everyone was like, what the heck is going on here? This is a cartoony game. This is not the realistic thing. The April Fool's one would have been better. This game sucked. This game is for babies. But now if you look at it, this is one of the best games that were ever created. It turns out that The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker 2 was originally going to be taking place on land. So one of these old leaked videos about Wind Waker actually being on land could have been a reality. Potentially this is exactly what was going on. If you remember looking at Wind Waker and going inside the castle, you can go outside this drawbridge and then you can see the lands above. Potentially that's exactly what that game was going to be about. Once you save Hyrule, it sort of goes away and then you can go and explore sort of the kingdom on land. That would personally been the best scenario that they could have taken this, because I absolutely love Wind Waker. I think the combat is solid. I think that honestly the game looks phenomenal. And for some reason, I just get drawn to this game. Being on land would have been absolutely cool. Like, all the gimmicks and physics and dungeons actually work fantastic for Wind Waker. So if they were going to do this, this would have been absolutely amazing. But it seems like it probably got turned into Phantom Hourglass, and probably if you played Phantom Hourglass, you know how that turns out. Either you like it or you don't like it. There's not really an in-between, because, you know, Phantom Hourglass is definitely really interesting. You take your stylus and you rub around the DS sort of touchscreen, and it's overall just a very weird game. But I find this to be definitely really interesting. The Legend of Zelda 40th Anniversary is going to be absolutely awesome. And plus, we can definitely see even more things getting revealed for this anniversary. We obviously have a console coming. We also have the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Potentially more things could be making their way over. Because if you looked at it the way that I've seen it for a while now, is the Nintendo Switch lineup, or the Nintendo Switch systems, is in fact way bigger than the Nintendo Switch 2. One good way to jump on the train would definitely be to release a special edition, but another way to get people to just play games is just to release something special for Nintendo Switch 1. Like they did with the Super Mario 40th Anniversary. They released Mario Galaxy 1 and Mario Galaxy 2. Doesn't that ring a bell? Doesn't that seem familiar? So obviously they could do another re-release, a port of something, just for those specific Nintendo Switch 1 users that don't necessarily want to jump the train right now to Nintendo Switch 2. Of course they can if they want to, but some people might be interesting about it. Also, it seems like the Switch 1 is going to be releasing in India in 2027. So why wouldn't you release another game for the 40th anniversary so you can pick up with your brand new Nintendo Switch that you just bought because you never had access to it before? Doesn't this make sense to get something like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, A Link Between Worlds, Phantom Hourglass? Who knows what's going to be happening here? But overall, this is all some great things for the Legend of Zelda 40th Anniversary. It is absolutely going to be fantastic. The release date of Ocarina of Time seems to be November. Same thing goes with the console, potentially a Nintendo Direct still in August, and also maybe one in September 15th. But overall, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section down below, and thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Consider it that like button, maybe subscribing if you're new. We do a bunch of different Nintendo content on this channel. Please consider hit that subscribe button. Help me us reach our goal as 5,555 subscribers. That'd be awesome. You're the best. See you in the next one.